guys, it's Emily from Novelle Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my January wrap-up part 2 and I did a lot better than I thought I would. Admittedly, a couple of my books were very short this month, but I read a total of 32 books. 2 of them were very short and I read them within a couple of hours, so that's quite fun. But considering I'm homeschooling, considering I'm still working, that's not bad. I'm happy with that. I only bought 6 books. I think about 4 or 5 of them were Amazon. Yes, I know I committed the cardinal sin, but Amazon, I've got my bank details and I've just gone click, click, click. But obviously, I'm still happy with that. While the charity shops are closed, I'm gonna, if I bought a couple from a supermarket. If I want to get some, I'm not going to kill myself, but I do know that the amount of books bought will go up. I'll still stick to my rule not to buy any more books than I've read from off my unread TBR. But I say that, but I really hope I'm going to be good when they reopen, because I don't know. I'm scared I might go a bit crazy like I did last time. But let's be honest, that's still good. I got 5 gifted books. Some of them were from for read-alongs. Some of them were from friends or family. I got a lovely one from Charlie, my sister. I got some one from Charles Heathcote. I've been really lucky. You guys are absolutely lovely, and I think you're all amazing. So thank you all for that. I unhauled 7 unread books from my shelves because I'm trying to be stricter. They're from authors that I've tried and not got on with, and I've decided that's it now. I want to clear room off my shelves. So that's 7 on that. And I read 25 books from my unread TBR previously. So my total unread TBR for the start of February is 421 books. That's still quite high, but it's down 21 from last month. So if I keep working in the downwards direction, I'm working all right. I am trying to borrow less books from my sister Charlie, because that tends to be where I borrow the books, but some books she lends me and I'm like, I've got to read them. So I'm looking up at them shelves going, which ones am I going to read this month? But I'm trying to be good. Let's see how I do. There's not going to be, I don't think I've got any rereads this month, so that's going to cut that amount down. So fingers crossed I'll get there. But now let's get on with the genres. I read 1 poetry book. That was again for my readathon. Sorry, I should have mentioned that obviously in January we were hosting the past and future readathon with Gemma from Read a Book Gem. Read the 1 poetry book, really did enjoy it. Don't know if I'm going to keep it because it's basically 1 poem, but we'll see. I'm not sure yet. My 1 classic of the month was Heidi. I am close to finishing Our Mutual Friend by Charles Dickens. I still can't decide whether I'm going to keep it or not. Gemma loved it. I'm a bit hit and miss with Dickens and I've not really understood it. So I don't know whether I should keep it for a reread and maybe read it when I've got a bit more time to really absorb myself. I think with Dickens you need to be able to really absorb yourself in the books. And whilst at the moment I'm reading quite a few different books at the same time, I'm not being able to immerse myself in it, and I don't think I really got deep enough into the book. So please comment below, guys. Do I keep that book or not? Like I said, it will be in my February wrap-up part 1, because I'm due to finish it any day now. But there. I read 2 thrillers, both of which were brilliant. Really happy with my thrillers this month. I've loved them, and I've got 2 more thrillers for February, so let's hope I love them just as much. 2 contemporary, both of which I really enjoyed. One was a YA contemporary, and I think the other one, I can't remember. But they're really good. I really enjoyed them. 3 non-fiction. Oh, I've loved my non-fiction books this month. Really, really loved them. And I hope that I love the ones I'm reading in February. 5 chick lit, and they were good. Some were 3 stars, which you'll see, but I actually got a 5-star chick lit this month, which was really, really good. 8 fantasy. God, my fantasy's gone sky high, guys. I'm loving, loving, loving fantasy. It seems to be like a comfort. It's like it's kind of, the fact that it's beaten chick lit says something, but I'm definitely finding that I'm going to fantasy for escapism. I find I really love it. It's really good. You lot have all converted me. And then my favourite genre ever, historical fiction. I got 10 historical fiction. But that is a lot down to the readathon that I was hosting with Gemma, because they matched all the prompts and it is a kind of go-to genre for me as well. Now let's go on to what I read in the second half and what I didn't. I did my first DNF. I DNF'd Oryx and Crake. I'm sorry, Nell and Scott. I am not getting on with Atwood. I've given up. I think Scott, put a comment on at the end of one of my videos saying that Margaret Atwood is very much of a, if you like their work, some authors are very much for you and some authors are very different. I am very different from what Margaret Atwood's audience is, and I don't think her work suits me. It's just not going to be done. So I've unhauled all my Margaret Atwood books. Sorry for those of you that love Atwood, it just isn't for me, and I'm just saying no now. I'm going to be gentle on myself and go with what I love. My first 1-star book, probably for a very long time, a book that I love my books, and if any of you want this, I will send it to you, but I want to throw it in the bin. I don't even want to give it to a charity shop because I don't want other people reading it. Like I said, you might like, if there's any one of you that really like it, some people have loved this book. But I was buddy reading it with Ange Whitney and Gaia. Ange stopped it pretty early on. She was sensible. She stopped it early on. But because it was a buddy reading, because some people have loved it previously, I thought, I'd give it a go, keep pushing on. By the end of it, I literally wanted to throw it at the wall and rip it up. And I love my books, and to me that was like a crucifixion almost. But I hated it. It has racism in it. It has abuse in it. It has negative, the image, the portrayal of autism in it is horrible. A lot of the comments in this is just so wrong. It looks like it was published in like 2012 or something. I don't know, 2000, maybe even earlier than that. And it was one I wanted to love, and I hated it. I really hated it. I'm not even going to give it much more oomph and say. So it's going on either my charity shop haul, or like I said, if anyone wants it, they can have it. But I really want to throw it in the bin. Now I'm going to my 3 stars. I didn't have any 2-star reads this month, which is good. I had 10 3-star reads. It's been a real hish-pish month. Really is a hish-pish January. I'm not 100% happy with some of the books. But 10 3-star books, and I'll show you the ones that I've read in the second half. First was a Helen Dunmore, A Spell of Winter. Gemma from Read a Book Gem gave this to me, and I'm definitely charity shopping this because it was another one where I wanted to like it, and I did certain bits of the writing's good. I'm not denying that, but it's very weird, like very, very dark. It's not the right kind of book. I read it for the book Hibernation, that was run by Tom and Simon. I wanted to like it, but it just wasn't. Catherine and her brother Rob were been abandoned by their parents, incarcerated in the enormous country house of their father, a man from nowhere. They create refuge against their own family's secrets and an outside world. As the outside world moves into the First World War and time passes, the sibling love deepens and crosses into forbidden territory. That territory I found yucky. Really, really yucky. There was a lot of graphic and gruesome scenes in here. There are triggers for things in here that you really... sexual bits that are really quite wrong. I really struggled. I'm sorry guys, I really, really struggled with this. So it's 3 stars, but it's a lower end 3 stars. I really do need to do what Bernard does and rate out of 10, because I think the 5-star ratings can be really sort of stretched. Then one that I'm disappointed that I didn't like. I got sent to it by publishers. If anyone wants to have it, please let me know. I would happily. I really want someone else to like it. I'm not actually going to keep that. I was sent this by publishers for Love Book Tours. I didn't get to read it in time for the tour. I haven't really written a review on my Amazon, on my Goodreads, because I don't want to put negative. I got sent it by the author. I just think it was the wrong time for me reading this. It's historical fiction. Gemma, you might like it. When a German smuggler is imprisoned in Morpeth jail in the winter of 1703, why does Queen Anne's powerful right-hand man, the Earl of Nottingham, take such a keen interest? Didn't grasp it, didn't get it. It's good, the writing's lovely. It just wasn't for me. That's all I'm going to say. I don't like it. I don't... Yeah, by the way, next video, one of the next videos I've got to film is the anti-TBR tag. You guys know I don't like saying anything negative about a book. The writing is beautiful in that. I'm not denying it. It just wasn't for me at the moment. Again, it could be just down to how I'm feeling, but it just wasn't for me. I didn't get into it, didn't grasp it, struggled with it a bit. Now I've got one of my chiclets that I think I added onto my TBR, so it wasn't on my TBR pile, but it was one I wanted to get to because I've had it for a while. The Way We Were by Elizabeth Noble. This is a middle of the road chiclet. 3 stars is not a bad rating for this. It's not a bad book. It's cosy, but it's quite predictable in a lot of ways. Susanna and Rob were childhood sweethearts, but in time they broke up. They grew apart, met other people, and gradually forgot how much they once meant to each other, until they meet at a wedding and memories come flooding back. Suddenly their hearts are in turmoil. Has the perfect love for them now as they now remember giving back to them, or should they carry on and walk away and carry on with their lives? This is quite sweet. It goes from their childhood to the present. It does have the dual timelines, which is quite good. It does make you think, is the first love your real love, or do we hold on to our past because it reminds us of a cosier time? That's quite a nice era. It's a good chick lit. Elizabeth Noble is a good, to me, is a 3-star book. I'll get her books from the charity shop, but I don't think I'll pay full price for them. They're cosy. The romance is sweet. The ending made me sad a bit. But it's a good book, but it's just average, so that's another charity shop. This is the Giovanna Fletcher. This is a topper of the end of the 3 stars. This is probably one of my higher 3 stars. Maddie, dressed in white, stands at the back of the church. At the end of the aisle is Rob, the man she's due to marry. Next to Rob is Ben, her the best man and the best friend any 2 people ever had. And that's the problem. Because it wasn't working, it wasn't Rob waiting for her at the altar, there's a strong chance that it would be Ben, if it wasn't Rob. And this goes on about their relationships, their friendship. Best friends since childhood, Maddie, Ben and Rob thought the bond was unbreakable. This is one of Giovanna's earlier writings. It is a good chick lit. It's just not one of her best, in my opinion, because it was quite predictable. And I did like it, but I'm waiting to see whether I've got another one of her books that I think I'm saving for February. Nope, I changed my mind. But this is good. This is quite a good chick lit. You're mainly going in, you're basically following their friendship from their childhood as to that point at the aisle, and then you get a little bit at the end after their wedding. Let's see how it goes. But it is a nice cosy chick lit. Very cosy, very good, but going on. This is controversial. Next, now I go into my 4-star books. I also listened to an audiobook, Faking Friends by Jane Fallon. I listened to that on audiobook by my Borrow Box. It was a good chick lit. Very much about friendships, and at the start there's like, look it up. Faking Friends is one I would say look up on Goodreads. It's quite a good book about friendships and about who your real friends are, not necessarily who the people you think are friends are. About cheating and about getting revenge. Revenge is quite a big thing in it. Quite an okay chick lit, quite a good easy audiobook. But the audiobook I'm listening to at the moment is a wartime one, and that's going to be, I think that's going to be 4 stars. I'm loving that. Me and my wartime fiction, hey. Now I go into my 4 stars. The next book, I am debating whether it's 3.5 or 4 stars. Another one of these books, whether do I go back and rate it 4 stars. Now, you guys know I love The 13th Tale. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Then, for Simon and Tom's readathon, their book was Bowen and Black. My sister Charlie gave this to me last year after knowing that I loved The 13th Tale. Yet again, an author that I loved last year has this one I didn't love as much. It is 3.5 or 4 stars. There are bits of this book that I loved, but there are bits that I didn't love as much. I've got Once Upon a River that I'm reading in February for Katie's read along, and I hope I love this more, but this was not as good. Now I know that Gemma previously rated it 4 stars. I think my sister Charlie rated it 4. It's more or less a 4-star read. A boy takes aim at a rook with a catapult. The impossible shot strikes home. The bird falls, and with its death, William Bellman must leave the eternity of childhood summers behind him and learn to be mortal. A man weighed down by tragedy has a drunken conversation in the graveyard with a man who may or may not exist, and an extraordinary bargain is sealed. The first half of this book I loved. I thought that the way the innocence is stolen was really good, and then the end bit I just didn't get. So I really can't decide. I think probably a 4-star is going to be where it's going. But it's not one of the ones, Diana Setterfield ones, that I'm going to keep, I think, because it was a 4-star, and I'm glad I read it, but I didn't like it anywhere near as much as The 13th Tale. So, sorry guys, not as good as I wanted. Another charity shop. God, my charity shop pile this month is fucking massive. The charity shops are not going to know what's hit them when I get out of here. Those are all books that I can definitely say, if anyone wants any of them, they will be ready. I've got a few other 4 stars to talk about, but I will send some of them if I can. Bear in mind, I'll do my best to send it when I can, because obviously with the restrictions at the moment, I don't tend to leave the house as much. Then I read my next couple of books are books I borrowed from my sister Charlie. Nadia Hussein's Finding My Voice, that's her autobiography. This is a really good 4 stars. It's a lovely autobiography. It tells different parts of a woman's life, the different roles she has, and I love that. Really good autobiography read. Charlie's having that back. Another one Charlie lent to me, 4 stars, hard hitting all the way. This is a top of the range 4 star. This Lovely City by Louise Hare. I love this, but it is very, very hard hitting. It tackles racism in this country just after the Second World War. It tackles some very hard hitting issues. There are some triggers for abuse and for things that have happened in it that are very hard hitting. It's interesting to see how the racism in this country hit just after the Second World War. I've not looked at it in that area, and I found that part fascinating. Like I said, this is very hard hitting, but it's a beautiful book. I wish I didn't have to give it back to Charlie almost, because it's one that I would like to reread, so I might borrow it back from her afterwards. Did love that. Then obviously, like I said to you earlier, Sea Prayer. I don't know if I'm going to keep this or not. It's a hardback book. It's a beautiful book, but it's one poem. Don't know yet. I don't need to say. I don't know. That's my don't know pile. So I've got a don't know pile. I'm halfway up my stairs where it's books that I'm trying to decide whether I keep, give away, send to someone else. I don't know what to do with them. That's where it's going now. Now, my last book that I finished of the month. Actually, I'll do that next. So I have to do that one in a bit. Another wartime fiction 4 star books, Flora and Grace. This cover gives it away. This cover, you think, 2 friends. It's not. It's about a girl who, in 1944, Flora's life changes forever. She's standing on a platform in the Swiss mountains, watching cattle trains draw near. From within it, she hears human voices, groaning, pleading, and desperate. Horrified, she runs along the train, frantically trying to help. But as the train picks up speed, a filthy bundle of rags is thrust through the slats. Take him, his name's Simon. Flora stands on the platform, a baby boy cradle in her arm, and nothing will ever be the same. I thought this would be more about both of the characters, but it is mainly about Flora. You do get to hear about Grace later in the book, but you never actually properly meet her. That's why that cover is very deceiving. In the video that I've already put up, I can't remember which one, it talks about how covers can be deceiving. This is Flora, and this is her journey with Simon and how her life goes after this point. And it's very interesting. A lot is packed into this book, into this very small book, but it's really good. Very heartbreaking at times. Bits where I properly cried. I love Maureen's books, but they're definitely ones from the charity shop that will go back to the charity shop. God, Chris is really going to kill me with my charity shop pile. Then my 4, but I don't know if it's going to be... This is more of a 4.5 star. Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. I buddy read this with Gaia. Friggin' loved it. Didn't expect to love it. It's only 4.5 stars because the start is a bit slower paced. Rachel catches the same commuter train every morning. She knows it will wait at the same signal every time, overlooking a row of black back gardens. She's even started to feel that she knows the people who live in one of the houses. Their lives as she sees it is perfect. If only Rachel could be that happy. When she sees something shocking, and in one moment everything changed, now Rachel has a chance to become part of the life she's only watched from afar and prove she's more than a girl on the train. You think Rachel is a baddie for a lot of this, and it has got so many twists and turns. Didn't expect any of them. Did not expect half the things that was happening in this book. It was exciting, thrilling, scary, properly kept me on my toes. Did not expect the ending. Did not expect to find out who the baddie was. And oh my god, it was a frigging great book. Loved it, loved it, loved it. It's a thriller, so it won't be getting kept, but it's brilliant, and I would thoroughly recommend this book to everyone. I know it's done the rounds on BookTube, but it was brilliant. And then the book, the last 4-star book, but the book that I finished last night, literally, so it literally was the last book of the month, A Street Cat Named Bob by James Bowen. How one man and his cat found hope on the streets. It will be going to the charity shop because, again, I want other people to read this. It was really good. It's about how cats can change your life, about how this guy saw this cat, found this abandoned cat, and how it changed his life. My cat, Sweep, it means the world to me. When I lost City, it killed me at the end of December, losing her sister. But having cats totally changed me. It taught me how to be a mum, and the love I feel for them, and the love I miss City so much. My other cat that died. I missed the first cat I had that died, Bubbles, when she was a baby, but that love I felt and that pain I felt when I lost City really reminded me how much you love your pets and how pets are so important. Cats are just the best. Sweep has definitely turned into, on the positive side, Sweep is now, my remaining cat Sweep has now turned into such a personality. She talks, she meows, she orders us around. She's definitely the ruler of the roost, and the love I feel for her is, I can recognise that love that they have. It's brilliant. And I think there's a line in this where these people keep trying to buy this cat Bob off him, saying that they could give it a better life, and he's like, well, how much would you want for your children? How much would you pay for it to sell a child? And he's like, and they're like, oh no, I wouldn't sell my child. And he's like, well, no, I wouldn't sell my cat. That my cat is my family, it's my child. And I'm like, get that. When I lost City, it was like the pain I'd never felt, and the love I feel for Sweet is like another love. She's one of my children, and I love her. And I don't know if that's right or wrong, but if you've got a pet, you know how much you love them. So totally love that book, and I'm looking for the other books in the series. Now I go into my 5-star books, and oh wow, they are 5 stars. They are so good, and I love them. These next 4, I had, by the way, I had 11 4-star books, so that's good. That is still good. I'm really happy with that. I had 10 5-star books, but the 4 I'm going to show you now are, first one is Innocent by Kathy Glass. You all know that Kathy Glass it's another name for her. She's got a different pen name, but she was a fosterer who fostered over 100 children. This is a story about a brother and sister that she fosters, and they get taken from their parents and brought into foster care after 18-month kid has a broken arm, and they've been in the hospital loads of time. Shh. Sorry, Thomas is in the background. Nearly done. And Molly was 3 and withdrawn. They're very withdrawn children. They've got a lot, and this is about finding out what really happened to them. But the ending's so sad. Oh, this is such a sad book. This is really heartbreaking. As a mum, my heart ached for these children throughout the book. I felt for Kathy as she was going through stuff in this, and it was like, oh my God, but it was beautifully written. I love Kathy Glass books, but I always have to read them with a nicer book behind them because they are so hard-hitting. But yeah, that's another that's probably my only 5-star book that's now going to a charity shop. Now my chick lit book that got 5 stars is 1000 Stars in You by Isabel Broom. My friend Tracy got me this a couple of years ago, so it's one of my oldest books on my shelf. It's new. It was a brand new book she bought for me because she knows I love Isabel Broom's books. But this is 5 stars all the way. This is amazing. I don't think very many chick lit books will get 5 stars, but this is one I'm keeping because it has disability rep in it. Straight away I can tell you that the lead male character has a prosthetic leg. Alice, the lead lady character, has scars on her face from an accident from childhood. This is about discovering that you are more than what you seem on the surface, and about being true to you. Alice, safe to say, her reaction to what happened to her was that she has felt that she has to be the goody girl now. She can't take risks. She can't risk another accident. She can't put herself in danger. Whereas Max learnt to appreciate, with his prosthetic leg, he learnt to appreciate life and try to be who he wants to be. But at the same breath, he pushes himself because he doesn't want his prosthetic leg to define him. And he battles with that. And their relationship, they meet in I'm trying to think where it is again. I only just read this book, Sri Lanka. And they meet on a holiday, and Alice goes there to do the bit of adventurous. She's hitting 30 on this holiday with her friends, and they go there to be adventurous, like one last adventure. But she has a fiance at home, and she feels like she's plodding along. And this journey is about changing her and about discovering who she really is. And their friendship and how their lives impact on each other is really lovely. It's way more than romance. It's also about a friendship. It's about being true to who you are. The disability rep is incredible. The rep for the scars is incredible. I related to so much of this book, and it's friggin' brilliant. I recommend it to everyone. So it's a keepy. Penultimate book, Everything. Chloe from Chloe's books. Chloe reads books. Loved this book. When she read it, she recommended it. I know that Kaz from Cats and Camera is reading it in February. It's one I totally recommend. Our buddy read it with Gemma from Read a Book Gem. Maddie is allergic to the world. She hasn't left the house in 17 years. Ollie, the boy next door, is determined to find a way to reach her. Live life in a bubble or risk everything for love. let's be honest, we're all in our bubbles right now. So this is another one that's very triggering for what's going on at the moment. How we're all living in bubbles. How are we all going to come out of our bubbles? Are we all protecting ourselves too much, or are we doing it? Obviously, we've got to stick to the government rules. I'm not saying don't break the rules, because you don't. We've got to be in our bubbles. But it's interesting to see how when she does break out of her bubble, what happens. Let's see how we're all going to cope when we get to be released from these bubbles. And life returns gradually, admittedly. That was quite an interesting concept. Again, disability recreating this. There is triggers for abuse in this as well. There's triggers for some quite interesting things. I didn't see the twist, but Gemma saw, so that's why I think Gemma's rating it 4 stars. But this is a thoroughly great book. I'm going to lend it to Charlie, so that's great. That's all my Charlie, you're going to borrow this book. I know she never really watches my videos, but I'll tell her to watch this one. Haha, you've got to watch it. Now for my favourite book of the month. It's joint favourite with Room that I read at the start of the month. A book that I got. I didn't expect to get it till February, and I thought it was on February's TBR, but I got it in time. It's A Vow So Bold and Deadly by Bridget Kemmerer. I friggin' loved it. Yes, you can tell by my excitable. It was every bit as great as the other books in the series. It's one of my only series that I'm keeping. It's fantasy at its best. I friggin' loved it. Can't tell you too much about it because you've got to read the other 2 books. You've got to read A Vow So... Curse of Fierce and Broken. Hearts So Fierce and Broken. Just read them all. Just read them all. Cast of Dark and Lonely. Hearts So Fierce and Broken. This. Read it. It's amazing. It's got my favourite one of my favourite colours on the front cover. The cover's beautiful. The author's amazing. It ties everything together so brilliantly. It's got raunchiness. It's got disability. It's got everything you could possibly love. It's got violence and fantasy and excitement and love and naughty sex scenes, but only mildly ones. And it's just brilliant. I loved it. Every bit as great as I wanted it to be. Thank you so much, Chris. This is my gift. He gave it to me as my Christmas present that admittedly I didn't get till I'm over a month after Christmas. I could kiss it. It's that good of a book. It's friggin' amazing. If you have not read this series, read it. It's amazing. And I loved it. Don't need to say any more than that. But I do need to say thank you for those of you that joined in my readathon. Sorry for the fact that this video is ridiculously long. Thank you those of you that joined in. It was good fun. I'm sorry I wasn't as great as participating as hosting it as I could have been. Sorry about that. I am trying to get back on track. I'm hoping February is going to be a happier month. I've had a bit of a boot up the bum by some friends to tell me I need to get back on track. I need to stop letting my fears get to me. I need to stop letting my anxiety take control. I am going to spend February rebuilding. I'm hoping the children will go back to school in March. If not, it'll be April. It's not that long. We're getting there. Spring is on its way coming. We are on our way, on the way up. The vaccines are happening. I've had mine. Because I worked at opticians, I had mine. I'm grateful for mine. Let's work to making... Yes, January was a tough month, but it's gone. It's February now. It's gone. Let's work to getting better. Let's all of us support each other and get ourselves on our way up again. We will get through this. We will keep going. We've got our generation to support. Let's look for the sunnier days. Let's look for Pancake Day. Someone put this Pancake Day in February. Let's look for things that are now going to be... We've got Valentine's Day. Admittedly, I'm working it, but Chris is going to be given a hint. I don't know if I want to cook that night or he can get me a takeaway. Because I want some Valentines that are going to be about me getting a bit spoiled. But let's spoil ourselves. Let's treat ourselves. Yes, January was a tough month, but let's go forward and rebuild, because the rest of the year will get better. Things will get better. We are on our way out. We're on our way out, and let's do this together. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, not subscribed yet, ring on my ding-a-ling, and I'll see you all soon. Bye!